Welcome to this PCOC Minute, your source for news and information for the pest control operators in California. In this PCOC Minute, Chris Reardon, the Executive Vice President for the Pest Control Operators of California, will be here to answer some of the questions that he's been getting from some of you operators. So let's get over to that information that Chris is going to provide for us today.
This isn't just affecting us, the issue related to PPEs. You know, everyone's struggling, and I say everyone. My understanding, people in the vector control, people in agriculture, everyone's struggling to get PPE equipment in, from the N95 mask to a lot of other equipment as well. So one of the things that we did a couple of weeks ago, I think it's almost 2 weeks now, but we're working with the Department of Pesticide Regulation on the whole issue of, the mask. And there's some discussion about, some regulatory relief, looking at the manufacturer's label. So we're talking to the department about that. They're actually working with the industrial hygienist. The other thing that's important to note too is we got Cal OSHA involved in this too, as you might imagine, because OSHA and the worker protection issues pretty important in California, not only in California, but all over this country. So you've got this sort of interesting group involved in the whole PPE issue. So it just isn't the Department of Pesticide Regulation, it's Cal OSHA as well. But the reason I mention that is I think there's some frustration about, PPE. And as you know, a lot of our members, I know, talk to their suppliers. We heard recently that one of our suppliers, I know they're expecting some PPE soon. But part of the challenge too is, the bigger challenge is, most of this PPE is going, and it should go to the medical fields and hospitals and things of that nature, nursing homes. So we understand that. We also understand we're an essential industry. We want to make sure we have the ability to continue to use PPE as well. And so we're hopeful that the department is going to at least provide us some regulatory relief in the meantime, or I should say, because we know that, we have to deal with this the next 30 days. Looks like the shelter in place in California is going to go to probably mid-May unless things change. This isn't going to change immediately. So some regulatory relief on that would be very helpful. And we hope that, like everything else, that they're going to catch up and make some of these PPE equipment. The governor's office is working in terms of phasing in, the whole PSI testing process, phasing in first, I think, essential industries that touch the medical world arena, that sort of, and then I think they're going to be phasing in other industries as well. So I think there is going to be my understanding is a group of testing areas around the state that are going to be initially open just for that initial phase of critical industries in the medical side. But we anticipate here in the next week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, they'll be phasing in other industries as well to test. So I know that too is a sense of frustration. But we believe, and by the way, I think the board believes too, the board's been very helpful to us on this. The board's leadership is very helpful in making sure that ultimately that we'll be able to test in the near future as well. So I want folks to understand, if they watch this and hear this, that I think that the next phase of as we sort of start opening up testing across the state, just think about all the people that test in this state. There's a whole group of people. And so to open it all at once, I understand that's a challenge, but we also realize the necessity to sort of get the critical industries moving first on this. And we've had general discussions within our executive committee and so forth regarding what the Expo looks like. As you might imagine, the third week of June is still going to be sort of in the target time frame. We've told folks to hold off. We are in the process of talking to both the hotel and the convention center in Monterey. As you might imagine, because of the governor's direction in terms of limiting crowds, we are trying to understand what this might look like in the third week of June. As we speak today, as I said, we have just begun discussions with both convention center and the city of Monterey, the convention center, which is the city of Monterey, and then the Marriott. So we will come out shortly with a directive of sort of our next steps as it relates to Expo. If we can't do Expo, then we're looking, as you know, the next time we would get together, it would be our board meeting in Paso Robles this year. Tom Graston will be our president at the time, and he's identified Paso Robles as our next board of directors meeting. And so we're looking at that as a potential possibility. And what I mean by possibility, maybe we do a hybrid event. I call hybrid meaning that, maybe we do something that's different, unique, because of the circumstances we face. If we can't do an Expo, maybe we look at something in September, because the challenge we have is, we don't know what September is going to look like. We don't know October. We don't know what any of this is going to look like. So instead of putting something down, at least firmly, we're trying to be flexible about what we do as it relates to an Expo. So that will be coming in pretty short order. As I said, we have literally begun discussions. Sarah's done a good job working with both the hotel and the city. So I want to give everyone a heads up that we're going to be making a decision here fairly shortly. The safety of our members is our primary concern. The public, our membership. The last thing we'd want to do is have an event and someone gets sick or a whole group of people get sick. That is really not something we want to do. So we're going to take all the precautions that we can. The relationship we've had with our regulatory partners, DPR and the board, Structural Pest Control Board, has been just tremendous. As I mentioned, I mentioned the last time I talked to them almost once a week, sometimes twice a week on issues, and they have been very forthcoming. Yes, maybe things haven't moved as fast as folks would like, but as you know, they have challenges too. They have folks up their food chain, as you know, or might imagine, have their interests as well. So to work through all this and have the ability to talk to them on a regular basis is really important. And I really appreciate our partnership with both of them as well. So I just wanted to make sure that our members understand that.
Thank you so much, Chris, for responding to some of these questions that you've been getting asked. We certainly do appreciate your time. Thank you also for providing us for an update for the PCOC Expo. We'll be looking for more information on that as it becomes available. Now, I want to thank the Pest Control Operators of California for partnering with the Pest Posse to bring you this PCOC Minute. Remember, stay safe, healthy, continue to practice that social distancing, and we will see you at the next PCOC Minute.